Namaste. Welcome to this short practice for strengthening and stabilizing the shoulders and the arms. So we won't cover everything in a short practice, but it hopefully is somewhere to get you started. So I'm going to start seated, but you could equally start standing up if you wanted to. So in a comfortable position in which you can have your spine lifted tall, draw your chin towards your chest. Just feel that gentle length down the back of the neck. And then here, rolling the right ear to the right shoulder, chin to chest, and left ear to left shoulder, and chin to chest. Feel your way as you roll from side to side. Observe where you're holding tension, where the body feels spacious. If you can note any stiffness that is easy to release, but also notice resistance in the body and don't press through those parts that are resisting the movement or feel where the feeling gets intense. If it feels good, you can roll your head all the way around in a circle. And you can take that in both directions. There's no hurry, you can go as slowly as you like. The next time you bring your chin to your chest, rest there for a moment and then bring your head to upright. Free your arms and just roll your shoulders a little. And as you do that, feel what is moving in your body to allow you this movement. And what responds to the movement, rolling the opposite way as well. And then relaxing, just rolling the wrists, making nice wrist circles in both directions. And because we are going to do things with our hands, we're going to stretch out that space along the fingers in the hands. So drawing the palm of the left hand upright and just lengthening through the left arm, pulling the fingers back towards you gently. So if you feel your left shoulder creeping up, you've probably done too much. So just softening down, keep the sides of the neck long, maybe a little softness in your left elbow, or you can play with a gentle change from straighter to more bent and see how it feels to you. And experience that openness on the inside of the left wrist. When you're ready to release, bring the palms together in the center and then go to the opposite side, extending through the left palm, drawing the fingers back towards the body, checking that your right shoulder hasn't crept up, and then playing with straighter or more bent, keeping the sides of the neck long, the chest and face nice and relaxed. Just feeling that space at the front of the wrist, or inside of the wrist. And when you're ready to release, bringing the palms together, interlacing the fingers, keeping the elbows close to the body and rolling through your wrists. And the reason why I'm spending time here on the wrists is that our relationship with our hands on the floor, wrists and shoulders, it makes a big difference to how strong and stable we feel on the ground. So rolling the opposite way, just a little figure of eights. So sometimes if we can access a little bit more stability and space in the wrists with more comfort, then we can improve the feeling of strength through the upper body. So here we're going to just reach the arms out to the side, do a little swing of one shoulder forwards and then backwards as we do the opposite side. You can roll the palms as well. So you can roll the back of the right hand forward as the right shoulder comes forward, and the back of the left hand forward as the left shoulder comes forward. Rolling the palms the opposite way as well, allowing the head the opportunity to move. You can keep it in the center still, but probably better to let it move so you don't get any feelings of rigidity in the back of the neck. And then gently bringing your arms down to your side, rolling the shoulders, always rolling the shoulders backwards and forwards to release so we don't build up too much effort in one place in the body. Softening the elbow of the left arm and then making big circles with your left arm. And beginning to open the shoulders a little bit more. Feel that relationship between the movement of the arm, the shoulder, the chest, the upper back, the sides of the body even. And when you're ready, you can allow the rest of your body to move with you. And the opposite way as well. You can start small as you go the opposite way if you like. Whenever you're ready, you can bring the rest of the torso and the head and the neck into the movement as well. Soften the elbow, takes the effort out of the shoulder. So we do this practice to begin to build a better relationship with our muscles that support the shoulder and the movements of the arm as well. When you're ready, bring your hand or arm back to center, your body back to center. Feel the difference between the two sides. So if you feel that you are on the journey to building more strength through your shoulders and your upper body, these movements will help to activate and revitalize those muscles, creating energy that you can draw on. And the more often you do them, the more tone those muscles will have, and the better they will support you. So let's do the other side as well. A softness in the elbow, beginning with just a nice circling movement. Feel the connections between the movements of the arm and the rest of your body. And then when you're ready, if you want to, you can allow your body to move as your arm moves. Often I think we feel that if we have a perceived weakness in a part of the body, that part is on its own. Let's go in the opposite direction as well. Start small. But when you notice the connections in the body, allow the rest of your body to join in. You can feel other areas that you can draw on for support and strength. You don't feel like your shoulders are all on their own, or your knees in my case. There we are. We'll do one more in this direction. And float this arm down. Just spend a moment to feel the difference between the two sides and bring your body to center and stillness for a moment to lift the back of the neck. Absorb the information that you've given your nervous system so we can move again. Okay, so I'm going to come up to standing for some more arm actions and a little bit of press-ups or wall presses, shall we say, with the wall, which is why I'm a bit close to it today. So to begin with, we're going to feel those muscles at the back of the body. We can help them to be more stable and more activated with a little arm movements here. So little softness in the knees, width in the legs if you need it. We're going to breathe in, take the arms out and up. And then as you breathe out, lower the arms to your side or out to the side, turn the backs of the hands forward, and then draw the hands behind the body. You can draw the hands across behind the body if you like, so as if you were going to hold wrist to wrist, or just simply behind the body is fine. And then inhale, release the arms out to the side, turn the palms up, and draw them over the head, looking up slightly. Exhale, arms down, turning the backs of the hands forward as the arms come to about shoulder height and arms behind the body. Inhaling. And exhaling. Elbows back. Inhaling. And exhaling. Keep the shoulder blades working towards each other to open the chest. Inhaling. And exhaling. This is excellent if you sit at a desk. Inhaling. And exhaling. You can do it at your desk as well. One more. Inhaling. And exhaling. We'll finish just by inhaling the arms open and exhaling the arms to the side. And as you do, roll your shoulders a little bit backwards and forwards. Just feeling a release of any effort so we don't carry it into the next practice. Okay, so hopefully that space between the shoulder blades is feeling quite active, maybe the muscles across the tops of the shoulders. We can create space in the front of the body. Often when you sit or do anything in front of the body, so for me it's a lot of reading or playing on the phone or the iPad or sitting after a day in the garden, or it's work that comes in front of the body like prepping food and in my case knitting and gardening and those sorts of things that are in front of the body. We get this length in the muscles across the upper back that is not helpful. It's like a laxity and tightness in the front of the body. So things that open the front of the body and create an effort in the back of the body really help us to strengthen our arms and shoulders as well. Okay, so let's come to the wall. We're going to do a little bit of wall pressing up. So press-ups are pretty hard. I find press-ups quite hard and my upper body strength is pretty good. So we're not looking for press-ups, but we're looking to find a way to give extra load to the arms so we can help develop that strength. So placing your hands on the wall, and you want the hands to be wider than the body so that you've got space to bring your body between them. And they can be around about shoulder height or perhaps a little lower if you prefer. And then take your feet a little bit further away from the wall. So you're leaning onto the wall for support. I like to come up onto my tiptoes. Firm in your belly muscles, look towards the wall, and then just gently lower yourself gently towards the wall, gently, gently, and then press away. So you're lowering towards the wall and pressing away. Now at the same time, you can do different bending with your elbows. So if you want to, you can turn your fingertips towards each other. Your elbows will bend out to the side. This activates your chest muscles a little bit more as you press up and down. Firm in the belly. You can even take your feet a bit further away from you, further away from the wall, sorry, if you feel it would be helpful. Just doing a few. And then you can try having the palms with the hands pointing out, fingers pointing upwards, and trying to keep the elbows quite close to the body. This is different. It activates different muscles. The shoulders are supported by the sits muscles, which is actually an acronym for the 4 muscles, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Serratus, scapula, levator, something around that, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. The point is there's lots of muscles involved. So we can do different things with our arms to help access those muscles. When you've done a few, and do enough that it feels like you've done something, but not so many that you feel like you can't move afterwards. Release from the wall, just roll your shoulders a few times, maybe shake out your wrists. And if your wrists complain after this action at the wall, you can find a different place to put your hands. So it might be better to have your hands higher, or I doubt it, but lower, further out to the side or closer in. But also that's an indicator that perhaps the flexion of your wrists, this movement here is a little short. The wrists don't like it if they're not so stretchy sometimes. Okay, so now we've done some stabilizing exercises and some strength exercises. You can maybe feel it in your pectoral muscles or in the muscles across your back, maybe even in the muscles of your arms as well. We're going to come down to the mat to do some hands and knees work. I've got 2 blocks here, which we will need a bit later on as well. So here, again, you can strengthen your upper body without putting weight on your wrists if you're finding that quite hard. And the best way to do that is with dolphins, anything with 4 arms. So 4 arms on the mat, and allow your fingers to make a little diamond shape. So the index fingers touch and the thumbs slide across each other, so you create a little triangle, not diamond, in the center there. Pressing into the forearms and then lifting your hips up, or if that just feels like a lot at the minute, move your knees backwards so that you can bring your shoulders forwards and backwards. You've got space to do that. And we'll do this variation first. So taking the hips towards the heels, lengthen through the sides of the body, lifting in the belly, and pressing into the forearms, just bringing your shoulders forwards, lifting in the belly still, lifting in the tailbone, and pressing backwards. Try to get that sense of lifting the chin forwards and supporting with the pressing of the forearms down, and then lengthening through the upper body as the chest comes back towards the thighs. Just a few times backwards and forwards. You don't need to do much. It's more of a long-term preparation. So building strength takes time. Come to do something a little bit every day, perhaps. Taking the odd day off for rest. When you're ready, you can bring your knees in, settle your forehead to the floor, stretch your arms out if you want to, or you can release your hands back to your heels and relax the space across the shoulders a little deeper, perhaps. It's okay here to give yourself some lift from the floor, so something under your head or making a pillow out of your hands if that helps. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And when you're ready, you can come up to kneeling again. So if you like hands and knees, or forearms and knees dolphins, you can try a full dolphin. And again, it's something you may need to build up to, but you'd be surprised how quickly that can happen. So with daily practice, within a month, your dolphins will be much more comfortable than they would be to begin with. So again, making the first fingers touch, the thumbs slide across each other, palms to the floor, elbows to the floor, and lifting the hips and maybe stepping your feet slightly further back. The idea is to press into the palms and the forearms to move your chest back towards your thighs. Keep your knees soft if you need to, and just gently moving forwards and backwards. Now that might be too much to ask at the moment, so perhaps just holding with your legs long, pressing into the hands. As you do that, feel the arms activate, feel the shoulders move. Keep pressing into the hands, keep pressing the chest towards the thighs. When you feel like you've built up enough strength to feel comfortable here, then you can do the backwards and forwards, only if you want to. Sorry, I'm just demonstrating for demonstrating's sake. And again, this time, as you come down, we're going to lie all the way flat onto the belly. Make a pillow out of the hands. Turn your head to one side, toes towards each other, heels apart. Give the bottom a bit of a wiggle, because why not? And if you prefer here, you can move your arms down to your side, so long as the side of the face or the ear is on the floor and it feels comfy. Use a block underneath your head if you need to, but try not to bend your neck to be able to do this. Couple of deep breaths. Softening the effort across the shoulders, across the upper back. Very good. When you're ready, you can bring your self back to center. So we're bringing the thighs towards each other. The head is more centered. And we're going to place the forearms on the floor with the hands apart, about the width of the body, just outside the body perhaps. And open your chest for Sphinx pose. So looking forward, again, it's pressing down into the arms. You can press into the hands here as well. And you can lower your chest by drawing your shoulder blades towards each other and then press through to separate the shoulder blades and lift the chest up. So this is just a little training for the upper back. Lowering the chest down by rolling the shoulder blades towards each other and then pressing the shoulder blades apart, lifting the chest or lifting the body. It's just the upper body. Nice and relaxed in the back of the neck. And when you're ready, elbows out to the side. Maybe rest your forehead straight down this time, toes towards each other, heels apart. A little bit of a rock from side to side. Our next variation is a cobra pose. So again, bringing the thighs towards each other. Hands now maybe slightly wider than the body. Forehead to the floor, and then pressing into your hands to raise your chest up, firm in the buttocks and the belly muscles, and allowing the chest to come back down, forehead to rest to the floor. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, keep the elbows moving towards your body, press into your hands to lift up, head comes up last, and exhaling down. Really firm in the tops of the feet into the floor. As you come up, the buttocks working and releasing down. As you come up, remember your arms aren't going to be all the way straight. That's not the object. Cobra has bent elbows, except in its fullest expressions. It's just a little pressing up and down. And when you come down this time, resting, toes towards each other, heels apart, pillow out of your hands. Wiggle your hips from side to side if you need to. If you prefer, you can turn the opposite ear to the floor. Rest your arms down by your side for a little softness across the shoulders. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. And then we're going to come from here into child's pose. So hands underneath the shoulders, coming up to hands and knees. Maybe taking the knees apart for a little fuller length of the spine, child's pose. And we're going to leave the elbows on the ground and bend the elbows so that we can rest the hands on the upper back at that space just at the base of the neck for a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Maybe just one more like that. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Relax the arms, pad the hands back towards you. So you come into kneeling just for a moment and rolling the wrists. So after all of that action in the upper body, you perhaps have a sense of contained energy that needs a bit of a stretch. And for this, we'll interlace our fingers behind the body, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, and either lengthen the arms down to open your chest. If you like this one, that's okay, go for it. Or from the more neutral position, bend the elbows and roll the elbows towards each other to open the chest. Both are good. Do both. Why not? I like to start with my elbows bent, and then when I feel a bit more opened, lengthen the arms down. Look up ever so slightly. Try not to arch too much in the back. Allow it to come from the front of the body. When you're ready, relaxing, giving your hands a bit of a wiggle or a shake as you choose. I've got to make a wardrobe adjustment again. Okay, so now some hands and knees action. Some of this is to help maintain stability in the core And some of it is to help maintain strength in the arms as well. So come onto your hands and knees. And here, really firm in your belly. So really lifting, creating that sensation of space between you and the floor by pressing into the hands, pressing into the feet as well. And here we're going to lengthen one leg back and the opposite arm forward, just holding on the floor. This will be enough to begin with, but when you're ready, you can lift your arm away from the floor and your leg away from the floor, keeping that length and keeping that strength through your center. When you're ready, you can release down, but give it a few practices before you go to the the sort of leg and arm up variations. So from the stable center, sliding your foot back, sliding your hand back. And if that's enough, just holding here. And if you want more, you can lift. Try not to tip your hips too much. I did on that one. That's no problem at all though. Holding in your center and then releasing down, sliding the hand and the foot back in. Another thing that you can do, which I find quite useful, is a little knee lift on your cat-cow. So here in cat pose or cow pose, lifting the hips and looking forward, opening the chest, and then rounding through the back, drawing the shoulders forward and up to create more length across the upper back, scooping the belly in and just floating the knees off the floor. Pressing into the feet, release the knees down, inhaling as you come forward. If you want to, elbows a little bit soft, like you're dragging your hands back towards you. Exhale, press the mat away from you, lifting through the knees, just a touch, lifting in the belly muscles. Inhaling forward and exhaling, rounding, lifting in the knees and releasing. Inhaling forward, exhaling, rounding, and lifting in the knees, and releasing. And again, patting your hands back towards you, rolling your wrists, shaking out the wrists if you need to, rolling the shoulders if you need to. Very good. And so we did wall press-ups, wall presses earlier, and we've done a pressing action from cobra pose, and we can also do a pressing action from hands and knees as well, and all of these help to gently encourage strength into the arms and the shoulders and the chest. So starting from hands and knees and then just moving your knees a little bit back. You can tuck your toes under for support here. And we're going to bring the shoulders towards the hands. So they don't need to come all the way, but towards the hands, so that you can see the knees are slightly behind the hips. Firm in the belly muscles. And it might be enough to simply press with your feet to bring your chest a little bit more open, but still maybe keeping your bottom up. And then press the opposite way. So when we're flirting with something like a waving vinyasa. So just bringing the hips forwards and backwards. Firm into the fingertips, firm into the heels of the hands, and use your shoulder blades. So feel like your arm strength is so attached to your upper body. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Press through the center of the chest. This time, as you bring the hips forward, not opening the chest, but trying a light flotation with an elbow bend. So bending the elbows and then pressing back up. We're not trying to get to the floor, we're just bending the elbows and pressing back up. Firm in the belly, firm in the fingertips and the heels of the hands, bending the elbows and pressing back up. And when you've done a few, releasing and relaxing. There is no point of working to the point. There's no point of working to the point. There is little point in getting to that place where the body is fatigued and shaking if because at that point you're creating tension and your body can't soften and release into it anymore. So rolling the wrists. Taking care to avoid that shaking place. And if it happens, maybe just going there and stepping away. So you can bring yourself into a bent elbow position, then come straight back out, take a rest, roll, release, go in again. And this is the way in which we can build strength, nice and gently. And then a little bit of downward facing dog. So downward dog is really, really good for developing upper body strength as well. So taking the hands onto the floor, knees underneath the hips, hands maybe slightly in front of the shoulders, and pressing the chest back towards the thighs as you lift the hips up into the air. So we're constantly working the upper body to press weight back into the heels, pressing through the fingertips and maybe undulating through the legs. And then from here, all you're doing is bending the knees as slowly as you can to the floor, controlling all the way down, and then coming all the way back into downward facing dog. Slowly, slowly, slowly pressing off the toes, knees to the floor, firm in the fingertips and the heels of the hands, and then slowly, slowly, slowly back to downward facing dog. I'm going a bit quicker than I ought to be. One more. Very good. And back to downward dog. And after all of that, taking a little rest, rolling the wrists, releasing the shoulders, making any movements that feel good to you. So the final practice, wardrobe malfunction, the final practice in this position is to go from hands and knees to up dog or cobra, and then back to extended child's pose. So here we're going to maybe open that space between the knees and the hands a little bit, so it's not square. And from downward, not downward dog, from hands and knees, we're going to press off the toes and draw the elbows a little softness towards each other and open the chest. Hips come down towards the floor, elbows are a little bit bent, and then press up through the hands and hips to heels, lengthening the forehead towards the floor. So firmness in the belly, press with your heels, support the body with other parts. It doesn't all need to come from the arms, opening the chest, and then pressing through the hands, using the belly, hips to heels. So a little wave through the body. And if you're doing sun salutations and you want to get down for cobra, you can totally use this variation, but firm in the buttocks and bending the elbows a little more to bring you down to the floor, and then taking your cobra pose from there, and then coming through hands and knees to go to downward facing dog. And this is a great variation to do if lowering into 8-limb stick, knees, chest, forehead, or chaturanga is not available yet. Okay, and then the last practice that we're going to do before we release the body is a little tricep dip. It's been a long time since I've done these. So you can do this with the blocks by just behind the body and knees bent, and just giving yourself a little bit of lift from the floor, bending the elbows with the hands on the block, lifting the chest, and doing as much as feels good. If you wanted to do load the body more, you can do this with your legs longer. But that is just to improve the strength of the triceps, but doing dolphin will also do that. So taking these practices, making them your own, doing the ones that you feel are the most useful, but being sure to change it up as well. When you've finished all of that, really important to release tension from the body. So you can lay over a rolled up blanket or a bolster, or you can take this variation of a chest opener. So I want to have one block along the length of my spine between the shoulder blades and one block underneath the back of my head. To feel a bit of lift and openness, to create space and length where we have used those muscles and created strength and a little shortness sometimes. So here, relaxing the arms out to the sides, let the arms find the floor for support to release their weight downwards, and allow the shoulder blades and the sides of the body to mold themselves around the block. Adjust where that block between the center of your shoulder blades is. It could come higher up, it could go lower down, depending on where it feels most useful for you. Relax all of the effort in your body. Soften the face, the shoulders, the jaw. Feel an openness in the throat, across the rib cage, under the rib cage, into the abdomen. Let the back of the body surrender its weight down, back of the head, upper back, buttocks and the backs of the legs, feet. And take a few minutes here, maybe as many as 3. Softening, releasing, relaxing. Whenever you're ready to release, which might not be now, might be later, bend your knees in, just roll to one side, move the blocks out of the way, and roll onto your back for a moment with your spine in a more neutral position, gently rolling the head from one side to the other. And to take the body in the opposite direction, wrap the right arm over the left arm to drape the fingertips to the floor. Just feel that space between the shoulder blades find the floor for a couple of deep breaths. Maybe gently rolling the head from side to side, waving the nose from side to side. And when you're ready, you can cross your arms the opposite way, releasing them first, and crossing left over right, letting the fingertips drape to the floor. Feeling that gentle length behind the chest, at the base of the neck, gentle roll of the head from side to side. When you're ready, releasing your arms. Take Shavasana here, take a relaxation if you have time. I would always encourage you to find time, because relaxation is really where the yoga practice pays its dividends. The body can absorb all the information you've given it. Your energy can return to center, so you leave your practice feeling vital and re-energized rather than depleted and fatigued. So I will leave you to do that on your own time. I hope you enjoyed this practice and find it useful. and I look forward to seeing you again. If you have any things that you would like me to investigate on your behalf and do a practice for, I can. Namaste.